Our main character Jahan is on his way home after a long day at work. A coworker asks him if he's finished yet, and our young man just confirms he's leaving. But on his way out, his boss stops him and calls him by his full name. With a tap on the shoulder, he reminds him that today is the company dinner everyone's been waiting for. Then, the man grabs him by the neck and asks why he would dare skip such an important event. While other employees gossip, he shouts that he doesn't want to go and that they can manage just fine on their own. We see a pile of papers as he says he can't take this work routine anymore. Suddenly, the story shifts to another man, who is also our protagonist, now lying on the ground. As he's dying, he's filled with regret. He had many, but one of the biggest was that he was ugly. Out of nowhere, a melody starts playing with lyrics saying he was born to be loved. The guy on the ground is confused by the song, wondering if the message was really for him. In the background, we can see several people in shock as our protagonist is dying. Our guy then thinks about being ugly again, but now he starts to hear a very pleasant song that makes him curious. A moment later, his vision goes completely white and he wonders if this is heaven. He then introduces himself as the actor Lee Hanjo, the angel without wings, and says he deserved to go to heaven. Hanjo remembers how seriously he took his volunteer work and his constant donations. He even donated 30 million won and says he would have helped more if he'd had the money for it. He then turns around, annoyed, tired of being just a supporting actor, and waits for an angel to appear. Suddenly, a blue screen appears with the same phrase as before, leaving our protagonist completely surprised. The actor is totally confused and wonders why that song has appeared again. The screen changes, asking him to make 3 wishes, but it says that everything has a price, leaving him in shock. Our young man thinks this whole situation is absurd and wonders if heaven is high-tech now. He tries to argue with the screen, saying his good deeds deserve a real reward. The text on the screen then changes, stating that the 3 wishes are his reward for having lived a good life. At that moment, he realizes the message on the screen is changing right in front of him. The man feels like an angel is rushing him and thinks that the chance to be reborn is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He crosses his arms and reflects on the price, accepting that nothing in the world comes for free. With a smile on his face, our protagonist starts thinking about the 3 wishes he can make. He then points forward and makes his first wish, to have a quintillion wishes. In return, the screen informs him that the law of causality will be adjusted as the price for his good deeds. Our guy is confused by the term causality and feels like it's a trap, but he knows he needs a defense. So he makes his second wish to have good health, because to him, nothing else matters without it. Turning his back, he prepares to make the wish he desires most among the 3. With his face slightly flushed, he makes his last wish to be a very handsome man. He plans to star in all the lead roles and donate the money he earns, and the screen confirms his wish. The screen compliments him for being a good person and informs him that a new life has been approved for him. As the screen rewards him for living well, the man feels a sharp pain and gets a warning not to forget. Suddenly, our protagonist starts screaming desperately as he falls into the void. As he continues to fall through the void, the same phrase about being loved appears in front of him again. Upon waking up, the first thing our young man feels is a bone-chilling cold. His body is completely frozen, so he starts crying out loud, begging for help. He hears the sound of a baby crying and realizes that it's actually a baby there. But when he looks at his own hands and feet, our boy notices something very strange. At that moment, he finally understands the situation and wonders if he has become that baby. The protagonist then remembers that he died and comes to the conclusion that he has indeed been reborn. Our young man panics because he's freezing to death right after being reborn. Abandoned in the snow outside a house, the only thing he can do is cry. He questions why he became an orphan after so many good deeds, and his vision starts to fade. Just as he's about to pass out, he hears 2 voices in the distance shouting that they've found a baby. Luckily for him, a nun finds him and picks him up, and our boy mentally thanks her for it. The woman laments that he was abandoned on such a cold day and shows pity for the little one. As she comforts him, he finds it strange to be consoled and notices that his baby voice is actually quite cute. With a gentle smile on her face, the nun gets closer to give the little one something to eat. Then she starts feeding him with a baby bottle. He finally accepts that he has been reborn as an orphan and feels cheated by the situation. Suddenly, the woman looks at him with a surprised expression, leaving our protagonist confused. At that, she says she's never seen such a beautiful baby before, which leaves the boy quite surprised. The nun continues to praise his big eyes and cute nose, saying he is beautiful. At that moment, the protagonist remembers his wish to be handsome and the strange message. With a confident smile, he realizes that his request was granted and the promise was kept. Our protagonist is certain that his wish to be handsome was truly granted by the entity. The woman then touches his forehead and says that luckily, he didn't catch a fever, even in the cold. He wonders how he's okay since he almost froze to death as a fragile newborn. While he's sleeping, the nun comments to her sister that he's an exceptionally healthy baby. He then realizes that his body is very strong and his wish for good health also came true. With that, our young man turns over and starts to wonder about the fate of his first wish. The nun then holds him in her lap and helps him burp after he's eaten well. The boy feels grateful for her care and realizes that the woman's affectionate gaze is sincere. He holds her finger with his tiny hand and mentally wishes for the nun to be blessed. The baby flashes a bright smile at the woman, who is surprised by how cute he is. She hugs him tightly, saying how beautiful he is, and suddenly, text appears in front of him. A blue screen pops up, informing him that he pleased the nun with a smile, which leaves him confused. The system informs him that 100 love and peace coins have been generated, and he thinks it's nonsense. Soon after, the strange screen asks if he would like to use his love and peace coins. Our protagonist is shocked by the question and wonders what kind of absurdity this is. Our guy then remembers that his first wish was to have a quintillion wishes in total. He wonders if the system is an extension of that wish and decides it's worth a try. The blue screen then instructs him to shout "Use love and peace coins" to activate the system. Our young man tries to say the command, but as a baby, he can only babble and point. Surprisingly, the system understands and asks how he would like to use his coins. The little one clenches his fists in frustration, wondering if the screen is going to give him some kind of money. Suddenly, the nun holding him feels a sharp pain in her back and complains about the strain. Our boy gets worried and thinks it's his fault for squirming too much in her arms. He admires the woman's kindness and thinks that someone like her deserves to be blessed in some way. Just then, the blue system screen reappears in front of him, repeating the question about the coins. An idea pops into his head and he wonders if things happen exactly as he says. So he decides to use the coins and makes a request to completely heal the nun's back. The system informs him that the cost for the healing is 100 coins and asks if he wants to proceed. With a determined expression, the baby tries to confirm the request but can only shout "Baba." In that same instant, the woman realizes her pain is gone, and our protagonist is shocked by how fast it worked. The nun comments that her back was hurting when she picked him up, but now it's fine and asks if something is wrong. Suddenly, the system appears with the phrase "Everything has a price," and our young man panics completely. An X-ray view shows that the nun's pain was transferred directly to his body. The woman gets scared by the baby's sudden scream, not understanding what's happening. He then realizes that this is the price to pay, and now his back hurts a lot because of the wish. The worried nun calms him down and asks if any part of his body is uncomfortable. Sitting in a chair, she comforts him and he thinks that the pain only lasts for about 10 minutes. Even with the pain, our protagonist smiles because the nun will no longer have to worry about her back. He reflects on his healthy body, good looks, and the ability to make wishes even if they come with a price. His ultimate goal is to enter the entertainment world, but being an orphan could be a big problem. Lying in his crib, he thinks that the biggest problem right now is being just a newborn. While he rests, the system appears and informs him that he earned 20 coins for being cute while sleeping. Another notification pops up saying that someone named Noah also found him cute, earning him another 50 coins. Our boy understands that by spending the coins he earns, he can make his wishes come true. But he soon remembers that every wish he makes comes with an unexpected side effect. He reflects on the price of his wishes and how the back pain was the consequence, but the wish did work. Our young man is impressed because healing a herniated disc is difficult, and the wish solved it instantly. He then remembers that as the price for his good deeds, causality would be adjusted by the system. At that moment, a horrible idea strikes him, and he wonders if he became an orphan because of his first wish. Even so, he thinks that at least he's handsome and healthy, and that's what matters for now. With a big smile, he vows that in this life he will be the main actor in every blockbuster film. The nun then approaches the crib and asks if the little one has finally woken up from his nap. He's confused why she called him little one and why she thinks he understood her somehow. With a smile, the woman shows him a necklace and says his name is Gongjia and that it was written on it. Looking at the object, our boy is shocked to see the name Gongjia engraved on his cord. Our protagonist can't believe that this will be his name for the rest of his new life. His mind explodes with confusion as he can't accept that this is his name. Then it hits him that his name is the same as the famous Chinese philosopher Confucius, sending him into a panic. The woman says the last name is illegible but that they can give him a new one, which annoys him. The nun says she would love to see him grow up there, but she's sure he'll find wonderful parents. Our boy then realizes that the nun is talking about the possibility of him being adopted. The woman points at him while the little one thinks that the most important thing is the kind of parents he'll get. He knows some people adopt for selfish reasons, so he'd rather stay at the convent. With a cute smile, he holds the woman's finger and thinks about what a good person she is. As a token of gratitude, he decides to use his coins to help her, and the nun finds him very adorable. Suddenly, a blue screen appears, saying he earned 1 coin because the nun liked his babbling. Our protagonist is shocked by the small amount and thinks maybe it's better to save up. The woman calls him cute, and he decides he's going to use his coins for her benefit anyway. So, with determination, he raises his little finger and prepares to activate his power. The system appears again with the blue screen and asks how he wants to use his coins. Our young man makes his request and wishes for the nun's health to be fully restored. To his surprise, the system screen informs him that he doesn't have enough coins for the request. The system states that he needs 1,000 coins, and he's shocked because healing her back only cost 100. Our protagonist looks at the woman and starts to wonder if her health is really that bad. He then understands that to collect coins, he needs to be extremely cute, and he gets closer to the nun. The system confirms that he gained 1 more coin for his cuteness, and our boy realizes his plan worked. Another notification appears giving him 1 more coin, and he decides he needs to be even cuter. Our young man strikes several poses, and with each one he earns another coin towards his total. The nun is completely enchanted by his cuteness and hugs him with great affection and happiness. But he realizes that no matter what he does, he can only get 1 coin at a time from that woman. Desperate, our protagonist understands he needs more spectators to gather coins faster. Suddenly, a little boy runs in and announces that the visitors have arrived, which excites our protagonist. The woman smiles and asks the visitors to come in, while the little one is filled with hope. Another woman tells Noah to hurry up, and the boy points to where his medicine is. Sister Maria announces that a Mrs. Masujong has arrived and that they need to dress Gongja for the visit. Our young man is shocked to hear the name Masujong and can't believe what he just heard. Then we see a woman in a red dress walking down the convent hallway. As she moves away from a man, our boy recognizes her. The woman turns around angrily and yells at the man that she hates this kind of thing and has already said no. With a disgusted expression, she yells that she can't stand children. The nun holds our boy as the woman in the red dress enters the room with a serious face. The visitor stops at the door with an intimidating aura and a very cold, distant look. Our protagonist is confused and wonders if the nun really said the name Ma Sujung. Suddenly, he remembers her, the third daughter of the Sungjin group and a very popular actress. He recalls that she had a strong temper but a good list of movies in her career. The strangest part is that our young man remembers the actress died 5 years ago in an accident. Confused by the situation, he looks at a calendar on the wall to check the current date. His eyes widen when he sees that the calendar shows the year 2024. He completely panics as he realizes he has gone back 20 years in time before his death. Our boy can't believe he's seeing the 20 years younger version of Ma Sujung in front of him. The man asks her to hold a baby for a photo, but the woman says even her own child doesn't like her. At that, the protagonist understands that the visit is for a promotional photo for the place's sponsor. The heiress then yells at the man and refuses to participate in the photo shoot with a child. With a pouty face, he feels rejected and decides he needs to do something about it. Our young man then starts to babble and decides to use what he calls the Ma Sujung coin. The system then asks how he wants to use the coins, and our young man asks to take a photo with the actress. The screen informs him that the cost is 3 coins and asks if he wants to continue, and the little one confirms. As a side effect, a red spot will burn the sole of his foot, leaving him confused. In that same instant, a sharp pain hits his foot, and he realizes the wish has been activated. Our boy starts to cry loudly in pain, and the nuns approach, worried about him. The woman holds him as he thinks that his foot is on fire and his arms are too short. With tears streaming down his face, the little one continues to cry non-stop because of the pain. His crying gets everyone's attention in the room, and he realizes he's got an audience. The heiress then turns to see what's happening with a curious expression on her face. With his eyes full of tears, our protagonist looks even cuter to the people. To relieve the pain, he starts sucking on his foot, which makes him even more adorable to everyone. The system informs him that the film crew found him cute, and he earns 10 love and peace coins. Everyone in the room comments on how beautiful the baby is and how lovely his dark eyes are. More notifications appear, and he gains coins from the manager and other crew members. Our protagonist earns 40 coins and mentally thanks everyone there for their support. A staff member, enchanted by the little one's cuteness, asks the nun for his name. The woman then explains that his name is Gongja and that he was abandoned in front of the convent. Upon hearing the sad story, the staff members are moved and feel sorry for the boy. Our protagonist understands that to heighten the tragedy, he needs to show a cheerful and happy side. With that, he starts to babble and wave at the crowd with a very big smile on his face. The system informs him that he earned 50 coins from each of them because they are both sad and happy. With a determined look, he continues his plan to get more coins from everyone there. The actress then approaches and asks the nun if the little one's name is really Gongja. Our young man is proud and thinks that his power of beauty has managed to captivate even the famous actress. The woman is afraid to hold him, but the nun encourages her, saying he's very gentle. Then our boy reaches out his hand and holds her dress, thinking this is for the good of the convent. With an adorable face, he looks at her and mentally asks the woman to give him the coins. The nun then comments with a smile that it seems little Gongja really likes her. The heiress is shocked and says that even her own daughter cries when she holds her. The woman tells her to try holding him, and our protagonist celebrates that the nun is helping him. The actress then extends her hands with a lot of hesitation and prepares to pick up the little one. In a very clumsy way, she holds him and doesn't know what to do with the baby in her arms. Our protagonist flashes a smile and babbles to calm her down and show that he won't cry at all. With her face a little red, the woman is surprised by the boy's reaction and looks at him affectionately. Suddenly, she desperately asks for hand sanitizer, which leaves the nun very confused. Our young man then holds the woman's finger with his tiny hand to try and calm her down. Charmed by his cuteness, the actress hugs him tightly and wonders how a baby can be so beautiful. She squeezes him and says that even the name Gongja is beautiful, leaving our protagonist very confused. The little one wonders if what's happening is some kind of baby therapy for adults. He then remembers his goal and wonders if the woman forgot to give him the coins. The heiress says that even her daughter cries just by looking at her and that she thought all children hated her. Our boy tries to comfort her, thinking that no child would hate their own mother that way. The woman looks at him and says that even though it's the first time she's seen him, he seems very familiar. With a tear rolling down her face, she comments that the little one doesn't feel like a stranger. She then kisses him and says it feels like they met in a past life, which shocks him. The woman hugs the little one tenderly, and he smiles back at her as a golden light shines in the background. At that moment, the sound of a camera flash echoes. The photographer apologizes awkwardly, saying the scene was so good he couldn't resist capturing it. With a sad expression, a single tear rolls down the woman's face, as she remains very emotional. The little one then extends his tiny hand and touches the actress's face as if asking her to stop crying. Surprised by the gesture, the woman questions if little Gongja is actually trying to comfort her. Our protagonist then puts his finger on her mouth in a cute and innocent baby gesture to calm her down. The actress is enchanted by his cuteness and gives our young man a kiss on the cheek, catching him by surprise. The protagonist gets very annoyed and thinks the camera ruined his chance to get more coins. Suddenly, the woman holds the baby's foot and notices the small red spot that appeared on the sole. The nun says she didn't know about the spot, while the actress is shocked and thinks it can't be true. Crying, she wonders why the baby has a mark in the exact same place as a certain Maru. Our protagonist hears the name and wonders if this Maru is the same Mari who hated being held. The actress hugs the baby very tightly and comments that little Maru was also small like that. The nun tries to calm her down, and at that moment our young man finally understands that Maru was actually the actress's son. Crying, the actress says that her Maru was also very beautiful, and our young man understands that her son died. The woman then says the little one doesn't feel like a stranger, and that she wants to raise him, leaving the nun surprised. Our protagonist is completely panicked by the idea and wonders what just happened there. The heiress then asks the nun if she can take the baby with her, but our boy refuses the offer on the spot. He thinks he doesn't get any coins from the actress, so being adopted by her is useless for his plan. With a gentle look, the woman calls him by his name and he just stares at her, not fully understanding the situation. Then with a smile on her face, she asks if she can be his mother, but the little one mentally rejects the proposal. A week passes, and the nun wonders if the actress will really come back for him as she promised before. The scene flashes back and the woman explains that she doesn't know how adoption works, but that she'll talk to her lawyer. She says she's divorced and that her daughter Mari went to live with her father, so she now lives alone in the mansion. The heiress promises she has a lot of money and can give the little one the best home, food, and clothes possible. Our young man ignores everything and thinks his mission is to collect 1,000 coins to heal the sick nun's health. The woman then says goodbye and our protagonist thinks it's all just a whim of the rich, spoiled heiress. But to his surprise, a week later, the actress actually returned to the convent as she had promised. Covered in snow and with her face red from the cold, the woman apologizes in a very low, trembling voice. The nun then asks what brings her there, and the heiress asks for hand sanitizer before anything else. Our young man in the crib is surprised that the woman actually came back to see him, even though it was very late. With tears in her eyes, the actress calls the little one's name, and our boy is very surprised. The woman apologizes to the nun, saying she was impulsive for wanting to adopt a child out of the blue. She confesses that she can't get our protagonist out of her head since she first saw him. The nun then questions if the adoption is just because of the birthmark, which is identical to her deceased son's. With a serious look, she says she won't let the actress take the baby over a simple coincidence. Our boy is impressed by the woman's courage in confronting the heiress of the Sungjin family. He then thinks the actress is going to get very angry at the nun and waits for her reaction. The heiress says she knows that, and our young man is very confused by her unexpected response. She yells that the birthmark is just a coincidence and that her son wasn't as handsome as the little one. Our protagonist is shocked because even the nun agrees with the compliment about his beauty. The actress explains that he comforted her and didn't cry. The nun asks if her family knows, and the woman says she lives alone and doesn't speak to her parents. With a smile, the heiress says that when the little one grows up, he'll get into a lot of trouble like her daughter Mari. The heiress hugs the little one and says she wants to be by his side forever and love him for his whole life. Our young man then remembers that the actress had a short career and a tragic death in his past life. He then recalls what she was like as a mother in his other life and the tragedy that befell her. With that in mind, he extends his small hand and touches the woman's face as if he's already made up his mind. Our protagonist then decides he will do everything to prevent the tragedy from repeating in this new life. The woman promises to be a good mother to him, and a system screen pops up saying the actress is happy. Suddenly, he gains 1,000 love and peace coins, and is shocked because they came directly from the heiress. Our young man smiles happily because now he has enough coins to pay his debt to the nun. The actress then explains she was waiting outside for a long time until another nun let her in. The nun listens to the story with a thoughtful expression and seems to understand the woman's situation. The heiress says she won't back down now, and that thanks to the little one, she has finally made a decision. With a gentle smile on her face, the nun seems to accept the decision and is happy for the woman. The woman then blesses our boy's head and says she's happy he found a good mother. The actress thanks her and promises she will raise the little one very well and that he will want for nothing. The nun then asks if she will keep the name Gongja, and the actress says her last name is Mar. Our protagonist is completely shocked to hear that his new name will be Ma Gongja and panics. He mentally screams that he doesn't want that name and begs the woman to choose anything else. To his despair, they both find his reaction cute and think he liked the new name he received. The scene cuts to 4 months later, and a little boy screams that he absolutely does not want what is happening. A boy named Noah cries and asks why they are separating him from his little brother, our protagonist. The nun tries to calm him down, saying the little one found a good mother, but the boy doesn't accept the answer. Crying hard, he says he doesn't want to go, and our young man remembers that the boy saved him in the past. A memory shows that it was Noah who found him in the snow and saved him from freezing to death that day. Out of gratitude, our boy decides to use his coins and wishes for Noah to be healthy for his entire life. The system announces that the cost is 30 coins, and the little one confirms the wish for the boy who saved him. As a side effect, he will cry non-stop for 3 minutes, and our young man accepts the price of the wish. Suddenly, he starts to cry, and his new mother finds it strange because he's not a baby who cries often. Noah then approaches, introduces himself as his older brother, and asks him not to forget him. The boy says that even if they're far apart, they'll still be brothers, and our protagonist notices his skin has improved a lot. With tears in his eyes, our young man promises that he will become a famous star so he can find him again. He then turns to the nun and wishes for her to stay healthy so she can help more children in the future. With that, he decides to use his love and peace coins to make one last wish for the woman who saved him. The little one wishes for the nun to be healthy, but as a price, he will fall every 10 steps for an entire year. The screen reminds him that everything has a price, and our boy, though annoyed, ends up accepting the consequence. As he waves to everyone, his new mother asks if he's saying goodbye to the people at the convent. The nuns and little Noah wave back and wish him all the happiness on his new journey. The scene cuts to the woman holding him in her arms against the blue sky, marking the beginning of a new life. In the parking lot, our protagonist is impressed to see the luxury car that belongs to his new mother. Inside the vehicle, he is amazed by the baby car seat made with the highest quality fabric. The actress promises that he will always have the best food in bed, and our boy thinks his new mom is the best. With that, he decides he won't be left behind and prepares to use what he calls filial coins. The little one then activates his power and makes a wish for his new mother's health to be restored. To his astonishment, the system informs him that 30,000 coins are needed for the wish, and he is shocked. Our young man wonders if the number is correct and if his mother lives without even getting a medical checkup. In desperation, he thinks he can't live without her now that they are finally a new family. Arriving at the mansion, our young man thinks he needs 30,000 coins and wonders if he could get them there. Suddenly, an older woman appears and calls her the matriarch of the Sungjin group and the actress's mother. With a disgusted expression, the grandmother refers to our protagonist simply as that thing. Our boy is outraged and mentally repeats the way the woman just referred to him. The tension between the two becomes extremely heavy. With a hand on her head, the grandmother tells her daughter to control herself and reminds her that the baby is not Maru. The actress then confirms that she knows that and says the little one's name is actually Gongjia. With a smile, she lifts him up and asks the grandmother to take a good look at her new son's cuteness. The woman then asks if he isn't cute, and the little one strikes an adorable pose to try to impress her. But the matriarch just stares at her with a cold look and no expression of affection on her face. With a look of disgust, she tells her daughter to take the boy away and threatens to throw him out herself. The actress is furious with her mother, and our young man decides he needs to try a different approach to the situation. So he makes a funny face and a wild animal pose to try to win over the grandmother with his cuteness. The woman remains unresponsive, and our boy is shocked that his cuteness plan didn't work. But suddenly, a system screen pops up saying the grandmother liked the imitation, leaving him very confused. The system informs him that he earned 200 coins, and our young man thinks his grandmother is actually quite funny deep down. The matriarch says she never liked black-furred animals, but our young man notices her hand is trembling. At that, the actress says his hair is brown so they can raise him however they want. While he sleeps, several coin notifications pop up from people who liked his promotional photo. Our boy gets dizzy and realizes how easy it was to collect 1,000 coins with the help of the staff. With this, he understands that the secret to getting more coins is to be seen by more people on the internet. So he gets ready and uses his coins to ask for the photo to be posted on a very famous website. The system screen informs him that the cost of the request is only 2 coins and asks if he wants to continue. With a funny pose, the little one shouts and confirms the request to the system without a second thought. As a price, his mother's personality will become bolder, and he's shocked because the effect wasn't on him. Sometime later, the news of the adoption spreads, and everyone finds out about our protagonist. A maid comforts her about the malicious rumors that she's only treating him like a pet. The woman then says she's used to criticism because people hate her for any reason. But she gets angry and vows not to let malicious rumors affect her son's life. The maid then asks what the plan is, and the actress responds with a very determined and confident look. At that, the actress says his hair is brown, so they can raise him however they want. Our young man then decides it's time to act and uses his coins to ask for photos with his mother. He babbles loudly to activate the system and put his plan into action. The system announces that the cost is 200 coins, and the little one confirms the request with a nod. He seems very determined to help his new mother on this mission. As a price, For 3 minutes, he will throw away everything he touches, and our boy thinks that's easy. He just plans not to hold anything during the side effects duration. His mother then approaches with a rubber ducky and offers it to the little one. She asks with a smile if her son Gongja is really an innocent angel. At that moment, our protagonist's eyes widen, and he realizes the mistake he made. He completely forgot about the side effect he just received. Unintentionally, he throws the toy far away, and his mother is quite surprised by the reaction. The rubber duck flies across the room while the little one despairs. The woman then stares at him with a confused expression on her face and calls his name. She doesn't understand why her son threw the gift she just gave him. The system announces that the cost is 200 coins, and the little one confirms the request with a nod. He seems very determined to help his new mother on this mission. The actress asks if he didn't like the toy, and our protagonist understands that's just how things are. The price of his wishes always comes back to haunt him. The scene then changes, and we see the front of a large luxury department store. The woman has decided to take the little one for a day of shopping as part of the plan. Wearing sunglasses, she pushes him in the stroller and tells him to pick whatever he wants. Our young man admires his mother's stylish outfit and thinks she's really going to fight. He's proud of the determination she's showing to everyone. On the other side of the street, a photographer gets ready to take pictures of the two of them together. The plan our protagonist set up is working perfectly. The little one then hides in the stroller and shouts "Mama" for the first time. The actress is in shock and lowers her sunglasses, not believing what she just heard. She wonders what the little one just said to her at that moment. With the little one in her arms, she asks him if he really called her Mama. The woman seems unable to believe the scene happening right in front of her. Our protagonist thinks all the effort was worth it and shouts "Mama" one more time. The system screen informs him he earned 30 coins for making the actress happy. While the camera captures the cute moment, the little one celebrates his brilliant plan. He thinks he managed to solve 2 problems with a single clever action. The scene cuts to a man looking at the photo of the two on a computer in front of him. He then wonders if the baby in the picture is the famous actress's adopted son. With a cup in her hand, the woman confirms that it's her son Gongja. She says if she's going to be in the news, it's better to be in the right official way. The man, who is the agency's CEO, understands why she accepted the photo shoot, but he worries that the actress will get a reputation for exploiting her son. The heiress then surprises him and says they are going to make a large donation. The man is completely baffled by the woman's sudden decision in front of him. With a determined look, she explains that the donation will be in the little one's name, and that the money will be sent to the convent where he lived before all this. The man is shocked by the news and wonders if that's why she's working so hard. He didn't expect the woman to have such a noble plan in mind. The actress denies it and explains that the photo shoots with the little one are at their home. The scene shows a small, tidy, and very cute toy room. A document shows that the concept of the photos is the daily life of an actress mom. The CEO understands that everything was very well planned by her from the beginning. The maid plays with our protagonist, while the CEO thinks about how everything happened. He says the actress insisted so much that they had no other choice. A photographer thinks the actress's beauty is so perfect it seems almost unreal. He complains that a photo needs life, not a motionless museum statue. The man then worries about the other model, who is just a small baby. He wonders what he'll do if our boy starts crying in the middle of the photo shoot. The photographer complains that the actress will lose her patience if the baby cries too much. He thinks the session is just to sell the image of a boy adopted by a celebrity. An assistant agrees with him and says he hates this kind of work with children. The photographer remains silent, looking very stressed about the whole situation. Suddenly, our protagonist calls out to his mother as she gets ready for the photos. With a smile, she picks him up, calls him her little angel, and asks if he ate well. The actress seems completely enchanted by her son's first word. The entire film crew is shocked by the genuine expression of the actress and the baby. They didn't expect to see such a warm and real moment between the two. The woman holds the little one's face, who smiles happily, and the crew thinks they look like a family. The connection between them is so strong it impresses everyone in the room. The photographer then changes his mind and grabs his camera with a determined look. He shouts that this is a photo they need to capture no matter what. With that, the photo shoot finally begins with the woman holding our protagonist. The man prepares to capture the best moments between mother and son. The actress asks if the bright light is bothering him, and he thinks it's dangerous for children. Even so, he knows he needs to endure it for the sake of the photos. Our young man remembers his life as an actor and vows he won't give up now. He is determined to show all his talent even as just a baby. The little one then starts striking various cute poses for the camera, like a professional. He shows that acting is in his blood, no matter his age. The photographer goes into a frenzy, taking one photo after another without stopping. He moves quickly so as not to miss any of the boy's adorable moments. After a while, the man finally stops and lowers his camera, looking very tired. He says that for now, they'll take a short break from the photos. The woman then asks how the photos turned out, and the man says he could go on forever. Later, the photographer sits at his desk and takes off his glasses, looking exhausted. He says he was so focused that he doesn't even know what he just photographed. An assistant doesn't understand what he means, and the man says he'll get it when he sees the photos. The guy seems quite confused by the whole situation. The woman is shocked when she sees the result and wonders if that's really her in the photo. The photo shows that the secret isn't just beauty, but the expressions that match it. The little one's talent for acting is what truly shines. The photographer admits he never imagined such a good result and praises the baby's expressions. He says the little one's smile surpassed all his worries. The man explains that the little one's liveliness is incredible and that most children don't have so many expressions. He seems genuinely impressed by the talent. He explains that even with help, babies only make a few poses, but our young man has dozens. The woman holds the little one in her lap as the man speaks. With a determined look, the photographer bets his career on it and calls the little one a genius. He seems very confident in the talent he just discovered there. The woman knows the man doesn't give praise easily, but trusts an expert's word. She holds her son with an affectionate and thoughtful look on her face. The man guarantees that everyone will agree with him and calls our young man a face genius. He seems very excited about the final result of the photo shoot. With an angelic smile, the little one shows why he received the title of genius. His cute expressions and natural beauty enchant everyone around him. Sure enough, the magazine completely sells out and needs an emergency reprint. The news of its success spreads quickly everywhere. The news that she donated the profits spreads and her history of donations comes to light. With this, the woman's public image begins to change for the better. The scene then cuts to a black van parked in front of a large building. The luxury vehicle is waiting for someone who is about to arrive. Suddenly, the actress's manager opens the door and shouts that she needs to ride the wave. The woman seems very excited about the new opportunities that have arisen. The manager pulls her by the arm while the actress complains that she's exhausted from working so much. The woman runs with boundless energy to the next appointment. The manager drags her along, saying that a golden age doesn't come around often in life. The woman agrees but seems very tired of the whole work routine. Crying, she shows a video on her phone and complains that she's been too busy lately. The actress laments that she doesn't even have time to see her beloved son, Gongja. On the screen, we see our protagonist in a cute outfit looking attentively at the camera. He seems to be calling for his mother, who is watching the video at that moment. Desperate, she begs to see him now because she feels like she's missing his childhood. The manager tells her to be professional, but the woman is too upset. Then she falls to the ground in despair. Suddenly, the woman gets up and starts running, calling her son's name. Her manager is shocked by her sudden reaction and runs after her. The manager tries to hold her back, but the woman is very determined to leave. She says her son called her and that she needs to go see him right now. Just then, she sees a man and starts crying, begging him to let her go home. The director just tells her that it's not possible at the moment during filming. He then seems very concerned and says they're having a little problem. The director seems to be hiding something very important from her at that moment. With a worried face, he explains that the problem is with the child actor in the film. He asks if the actress knows what he's talking about at that moment. The woman looks down sadly and says the baby cries every time he sees her. It seems this problem has been going on for a long time during the movie's filming. The director explains that the scene is about a warrior who delivers a baby, but the narrative is ruined if the child cries upon seeing the story's heroine. He then sighs and says he knows it's a very difficult request to make of her. The director seems to be preparing for a very important proposal. The director then says that for the movie's promotion, they could use our protagonist. He suggests that the little one could play the role of the baby in the movie scene. The actress is completely shocked by the absurd proposal he just made. She questions if he really wants her son to act in a movie at this age. While our young man drinks his bottle, the maid asks what happened. The actress seems thoughtful before answering the older woman's question. The woman then reveals that the director wants the little one for the movie, and our protagonist chokes. He can't believe what he just heard from his new mother. With a serious face, our boy wonders if she's talking about the famous director Hyo. He seems to recognize the name she just mentioned. He remembers director Hyo Bong-pal, a very famous name in the film industry. Our young man knows this man only makes blockbuster hits. Then it dawns on him that the movie is the famous zombie hit he was a fan of in his other life. Our protagonist remembers he even had the special edition DVD of this work. Suddenly, the woman gets up and starts running, calling her son's name. Her manager is shocked by her sudden reaction and runs after her. But the director saw the magazine and got excited about the chance to use our boy. The maid thinks it's absurd for him to get excited over a child. Our young man is ecstatic about the opportunity and starts to fidget to get attention. He really wants this role and needs his mother to accept the offer. The two women are surprised by his agitation since he's always so calm. They don't understand the reason for the little one's excitement now. The maid then says a film set is too chaotic for a baby. Our protagonist mentally screams that's not true at all. His mother also worries that he might get sick in such a hectic place. With that, the little one shakes his head to show he'll be fine. She then thinks about quitting the movie to stay with him, and our protagonist panics. He decides he'll use his coins to convince her to accept. The system informs him that to act in the movie he needs 200 coins. Without a second thought, our young man confirms the request to the blue screen. As a price, his eyes will itch for 5 minutes, and he accepts the sacrifice. Our boy knows the final result will be well worth it for him. Suddenly, his mother notices that his eyes have turned red out of nowhere and gets worried. The little one tries his best not to scratch and ruin his plan. The maid asks what he wants, and the actress notices he's changed since they talked about the movie. She remembers they called him a genius and wonders if he has talent. The woman agrees and says he loves the camera and is happy when she takes pictures. At that, our young man celebrates the maid's help with the plan. His mother then notices that he looks directly at the lens, and our boy celebrates. He's happy that his plan is working out perfectly. The actress thinks he's telling her not to worry, but the maid disagrees. To the older woman, the little one is just squirming. The woman thinks his blinking is a signal to film, but the maid has another idea. She suggests that maybe his eyes are just uncomfortable. With that, the actress is convinced he wants to be in the movie and gets very excited. The maid just thinks her boss is being hopeful. Hugging the little one affectionately, the woman admits it with a smile on her face. She confesses that she actually just wants to show off her little angel to the whole world. Our young man is filled with determination and thinks she can become a star. With that, he can also collect coins and have 10 million viewers. The scene then cuts and shows the bustling film set of the new movie. Several crew members are preparing everything for the shoot. Dressed in her military costume, the woman looks very worried. She's afraid our protagonist will start crying when he sees her. But to her surprise, the little one stares at her with a look of pure admiration. He seems completely enchanted by his mother's appearance. With sparkling eyes, our young man thinks about how amazing his mother looks. To him, the woman looks like a true warrior ready for battle. The maid comments that he's not scared and seems to be enjoying the situation. The actress then asks the little one if he recognizes her. Suddenly, the director appears on the film set with a smile on his face. He asks the woman if the famous baby has finally arrived for the shoot. Our protagonist then flashes a bright and charming smile for everyone. He seems more than ready to start his acting career. The director and the entire crew are completely frozen by the little one's cuteness. Our boy's beauty seems to have struck everyone like an arrow. It is then explained that the mother's character lost her child in a tragic accident. Because of this event, she carries a very deep trauma in her heart. But in the midst of the zombie apocalypse, she ends up saving a baby and overcomes her pain. Her journey of overcoming is the main point of the entire film. With this, our protagonist understands that his role is that of the baby abandoned in the chaos. He will be the key to his mother's character's emotional redemption. Our young man then wonders why this scene was cut from the final version of the movie. He remembers it was the most emotional part of the whole story. Since the scene wasn't in the final cut, he didn't even know it actually existed. He wonders if filming was difficult because of the other babies crying. The director then asks if such a small baby can be on a high platform. Our boy understands that this is why the scene is so difficult to film. He realizes the scene is about his mother climbing to save him from up there. The high platform is the big challenge of the upcoming shoot. The director tries to show him how he should act, but our protagonist doesn't know what to do. He wonders if he should just cry like a child in danger would. In the background, we can see some crew members talking as they prepare. The atmosphere on the film set seems very professional and focused on the work. His mother then prepares for the action scene with the help of one of the assistants. She seems very focused and ready to start shooting the scene. With everything ready, the director finally yells that the filming can begin. The camera then starts rolling on the action scene everyone was waiting to see. Alone on the platform, the little one thinks about how he would act in that situation. He seems to be concentrating for his first big professional performance. At that moment, his eyes close and open with a very serious expression. He is ready to show everyone his true acting talent. Our boy acts so well that he sees himself in the post-apocalyptic setting to better interpret his role. In a world devastated by zombies and without hope, our young man is alone up high. The creatures try to reach him with their outstretched hands. Being just a baby who understands nothing of the situation, he stares into the void. His expression is serious, and he seems very focused on what he's doing. But instead of crying in fear, the little one flashes a bright and joyful smile. A golden light envelops him, and he looks like an angel in the midst of chaos. The little one's attitude doubles the tragedy and makes the audience want to save him. The film crew is shocked by the unexpected performance. Completely surprised by the scene, the director yells to cut the recording immediately. He didn't expect our protagonist to act that way. The crew comments that the baby looked at the camera, and the contrast was incredible. They think the happy expression in a dangerous situation creates a great impact. The director then decides they will use this scene and continue with the shoot. His mother holds the little one in her arms and seems to agree with his decision. With that, the actress gets into character, and our boy notices how professional she is. Her eyes are completely immersed in the role she needs to play. She then takes a step forward and prepares for the action scene with determination. Her foot steps on the edge of the platform and she propels herself upward. The woman is then pulled up by the studio's safety cables. With a determined look, she focuses entirely on her objective in the scene. Her face shows all the emotion the character is feeling at the moment. However, something goes wrong, and she ends up falling hard onto the safety mattress. The woman loses her balance in the air and falls in a very ugly way to the ground. The entire film crew is completely panicked by what they just saw. The director and assistants scream desperately at the accident. The woman lies on the mattress, seemingly in a lot of pain from the fall. The impact of the fall seems to have been too strong for her to handle. The actress explains that the scene with the baby is important, but the child actor cries non-stop. Because of that, they can't continue filming the movie. The director and the maid run desperately and ask if the actress is okay. They seem very worried about the fall she just took. Still on the ground, the woman calls the little one's name in a very weak voice. Her main concern seems to be for her son's well-being. Our boy calls her mama while she assures him that she's okay, but the painful expression on her face says otherwise. The protagonist realizes she protected him and got hurt because of it. He then wonders if his new mother is really okay. With his little hand, he touches her face and calls her mama once more. The little one seems to be trying to comfort her in some way. With a tear on her face, she is thankful that he is safe and feels relieved. Her biggest worry at that moment was only for her son. The woman feels a very strong pain and seems to be on the verge of fainting. The impact of the fall was much greater than she expected. She then asks the maid to take the baby, and the woman rushes to help. The actress seems to be in too much pain to hold him. Our young man feels guilty because she didn't protect herself in order to save him. He thinks the accident was entirely his fault. In the maid's arms, he decides to use his coins to help right away. He won't let his mother continue to suffer like that. He then asks the system to heal his mother's injuries immediately. The screen informs him the cost is 5,000 coins, and he confirms the request. As a price, he will cry for 10 minutes, and the system warns him about dehydration. Even so, he accepts the consequence to be able to help her. Suddenly, the woman feels a strange sensation, and her body begins to heal. She doesn't understand what's happening to her injuries. With a hand on her arm, she realizes the pain is completely gone and is shocked. Everything seems to have returned to normal in the blink of an eye. Sitting on the mattress, the woman is confused because she's no longer hurt. She wonders how her injuries disappeared so quickly. Our young man wonders if the wish worked and if his mother is already better. He hopes the power of the coins has truly healed her. The director then asks if she can move her arm, and the assistant gets emotional. The crew seems very relieved that she wasn't seriously injured. With a smile, the woman says she suddenly feels fine and has no pain. The crew members help her up and ask her not to push herself. Suddenly, she remembers the little one and turns around desperately to look for him. Her biggest concern at that moment is for her son's well-being. The crowd parts like the Red Sea for her to pass through and find him. Everyone on the crew makes way for the mother to see her son. In the maid's arms, the little one stares at her with a worried expression. He seems very shaken by the accident that just happened. With his eyes full of tears, he braces himself for the side effect of the wish. The director and the actress are confused to see our protagonist's reaction. They don't understand why the little one suddenly seems so sad. Suddenly, our young man starts crying loudly and non-stop in the maid's arms. The sound of his crying echoes throughout the film studio. The woman approaches, and the maid says he never cries like that. The actress then blames herself, thinking she scared him with the accident. She then apologizes to the little one and says she should have been more careful. The woman feels very guilty for having scared her son. Our young man thinks he hates being a baby and feels very helpless. If it weren't for the coins, his mother would be seriously injured because of him. With a loving hug, she comforts him, saying everything is okay and that she's there. The woman tries to calm the little one's desperate crying. After crying for 10 minutes, he almost gets dehydrated, but the maid helps him. The woman gives him some barley tea, which saves him from dehydration. The actress apologizes to the maid for the scare, and the woman starts to cry. She says she was very worried, thinking her boss had gotten hurt. The actress confesses she's never been afraid of getting hurt because she's always lived as she pleased. She touches the little one's face as he sleeps peacefully in his crib. The maid agrees, saying that Ansan's wife used to worry about her, but the woman understands that now she needs to control herself a bit more than before. With a sad expression, she admits it's the first time she's gotten hurt and made the baby cry. This situation leaves her very shaken as it has never happened before. Looking at her sleeping son, she realizes that little Gongjia only has her in the world. The woman feels very responsible for her son's well-being. Leaning on the crib, she comments that earlier she thought her back was going to break. The accident during filming was much more serious than it seemed. But she explains that when she saw our boy crying, the pain vanished as if it were a lie. The worry for her son made her forget her own injuries. His little hand holds her finger tightly, and the woman questions her maternal instinct. The connection between them seems to be growing stronger. With a thoughtful and slightly sad look, she reflects on her new feelings. Motherhood seems to be completely changing her life and priorities. She then thinks she should have at least asked the reason from a certain person. The woman seems to regret something that happened in her past. The maid is confused by the comment and asks what reason she is talking about. The older woman doesn't seem to understand what her boss means. With a sad smile, she reveals that she's talking about her daughter, Mari. Even if the girl hates her forever, she is still the little one's mother. The woman remembers that at the time, Mari screamed so much that she couldn't do anything. Her biggest worry was that her daughter would get a fever from crying so much. The maid comments that young Mari has a very strong temper. The actress then agrees and jokes that she doesn't know who her daughter got that temper from. She then admits that her daughter is like her and decides she will try to get in touch. The woman seems determined to reconnect with her biological daughter. The scene then shows a little girl holding a stuffed rabbit with a sad face. This appears to be the little Mary the actress talks so much about. The scene changes, and we see the grandmother with a serious face in her office. She says our protagonist is of no help and that she needs to throw him out. Despite this, she lifts him into the air with a very stern expression. Our boy thinks that even with the harsh words, she came all this way just to see him. In a cute version, the matriarch warns that when the time is right, she will kick him out herself. She then asks if the little one understood her message clearly. The woman then hugs him and thinks she needs to get rid of him before she gets attached. Our young man realizes her actions don't match her words. The little one understands that she likes his face but still treats him cruelly. With that, he wonders how he can truly get closer to her. Our protagonist knows he needs to make her want to see him more often. He thinks people get tired of a face quickly, even if it's a beautiful one. Suddenly, upon seeing his grandfather's cane, he has a brilliant idea. The little one seems to have found the solution to his big problem. Against a lemongrass background, he decides to use his coins for a new request. He wishes for his body to smell like this plant whenever his grandmother visits him. The system screen informs him that the cost of the wish is 200 coins. He notes that the scent is good for muscle pain and confirms the request immediately. As a price, he won't be able to taste anything for 7 whole days. Our boy thinks it's fair since he only eats formula and baby food anyway. Suddenly, the grandmother stares at him with a very confused expression on her face. Our young man just remains silent, waiting for the result of his plan. In a cute scene, the woman sniffs him, trying to identify the new scent. She seems very intrigued by the smell coming from the little boy. She then hugs him and wonders if that smell is coming from the baby. Our protagonist mentally celebrates because his plan worked perfectly. With a cute face, he gets close to his grandmother's face for his final move. He seems to be preparing to do something that will surprise her. The little one then gives the matriarch a kiss on the cheek, leaving her in shock. The woman didn't expect to receive such a sudden gesture of affection from the boy. The matriarch is completely frozen by the little one's reaction. The shocked expression on her face shows that she didn't expect this. Our protagonist gets a little worried and questions if he did the wrong thing. He doesn't know if his cuteness plan really worked on his grandmother. With her hand on her cheek, the woman stammers, not knowing what to say. Our young man thinks her reaction is like someone who just got slapped in the face. Suddenly, the system screen informs him that the grandmother loved the kiss, and he earns 800 coins. Our boy thinks the woman is very strange but is happy with the reward. Our young man then holds her finger and thinks that aromatherapy and cuteness are a perfect combination. He seems very proud of his brilliant plan. Even while holding him, the woman tells him to get away and complains that her daughter needs to get rid of him. Our protagonist thinks that she's actually the one holding him there. The grandmother says he's disrupting her daughter's life and that she's now taking care of Mari. The little one is confused because he doesn't remember who this Mari is. The matriarch complains about the zombie movie, calling it tacky and grotesque. Our protagonist hears the word premiere and is surprised by the date. Soon, the sound of a door opening is heard. Suddenly, the maid announces that the young lady has arrived, and the grandmother continues to hold the baby. She seems not to want to be seen by her daughter with the little one in her arms. In a serious voice, the older woman just replies that she got the message. She seems to be preparing to leave before her daughter sees her there. Carefully, she places the little one on the bed, and our young man thinks about the situation. He notices that she always runs away when his mother shows up at home. The grandmother then asks the maid not to tell her daughter that she was there. The older woman agrees to her boss's request immediately. As she walks away, our boy calls her dishonest and thinks about the movie. He thinks it would be nice if she watched the premiere with her own daughter. Just then, the actress runs in, shouting our protagonist's name. She seems very happy and excited to finally be home with her son. With a smile, she lifts him into the air and calls him her little angel. The woman seems very happy to be with her son after a day of work. She hugs him affectionately and asks if he was a good boy today. Our boy just smiles back at his mother with a very cute expression. The maid explains that he ate and played well and that he never gets sick. The actress is very happy to hear that her son is very healthy. Then, with a smile, she asks if he can go to the movie premiere tomorrow. Our young man is shocked and excited by his mother's proposal. The little one is ecstatic because a premiere is full of people and cameras. With luck, he might even appear on a famous news program. But the maid is worried because he's still too young for such a noisy place. The woman and the actress become thoughtful about the baby's safety. The actress explains that the organizers suggested and insisted on the idea a lot. They planned everything after seeing his photos in the hit magazine. With a determined face, she says she can carry him and hold the bouquets. The woman reveals she wants to be congratulated alongside her son. Even though she's worried, she wants the little one to go with her and be by her side. Our boy notices that his mother's attitude has changed a lot. He's sure the movie will be a huge success. He knows the result is obvious even without needing to watch it. The next day, the maid opens the closet and wonders what to dress him in. She seems very undecided with all the cute clothing options. She suggests a bee costume, and our protagonist is shocked by the idea. He can't believe the woman is actually considering this option. Then the woman thinks of a frog costume, but our young man thinks the idea is horrible. He mentally screams that it's not safe at all. The maid suggests a gorilla outfit, and the little one despairs at the idea. He doesn't understand why they have a costume like that at home. Finally, she decides on a turtle costume, and our protagonist is baffled. He wonders what kind of bizarre costume she has chosen. Desperate, he decides to use his coins and asks to wear a polar bear costume. Our young man clasps his hands and concentrates to make his special request. The system informs him it costs 500 coins, and he confirms because he doesn't trust the maid's taste. The little one is determined to look his best at the premiere. As a price for using the coins, he will sneeze for a full minute without stopping. Our boy then prepares for the side effect that is to come. In that same instant, our young man starts sneezing loudly because of the wish. The maid is surprised by the little one's sudden reaction. The woman then approaches concerned and asks if he's cold. Our protagonist continues to sneeze while the woman watches him attentively. So to warm him up, the woman dresses him in the cute polar bear outfit he wanted. She hopes the warmer clothes will help stop the sneezing. Dressed as a bear, he reflects that the price of his wishes also motivates him to fulfill them. The little one seems satisfied with the final result of his plan. With a determined look, he does a final check and sees that he has 28,000 coins. Our boy is getting closer and closer to his big goal. The scene changes to the premiere and we see that the movie was a box office hit. The paparazzi and magazines helped a lot with the film's promotion. With the cast on stage, he thinks he's close to the 30,000 coins to save his mother. The excitement of the moment makes him even more determined to get them. In the audience, two men are talking and pointing at the stage as they watch the presentation. The crowd seems very excited about the premiere event. Suddenly, his mother starts to cry, very moved by the movie's success. Tears stream down her face as she looks at the audience. Our young man is shocked by the scene and lightning flashes around him with emotion. He didn't expect his mother to react that way on stage. 3 hours earlier, with our protagonist's arrival at the premiere, the little one arrives in her arms for the movie's big event. His mother and the director praise him and find him very cute in the polar bear outfit. Everyone seems enchanted by the little actor's adorable appearance. The director comments that another colleague asked how the baby didn't cry on set. The actress holds him with a smile on her face. The man says his name always comes up in congratulatory calls for the movie. The woman agrees that the scenes with her son are the best, although they weren't important scenes. His smile added more weight to the story. The director seems very impressed with the little one's performance. He says that in a world with zombies, the boy seemed innocent and brave. The baby's attitude in the scene shocked everyone on the crew. With that, he concludes that the little one's acting seemed almost intentional. Our young man is surprised because the director noticed his talent. The director thinks it's impossible, but if it were true, the baby would be a genius. He seems not to believe his own theory that he just created. With a smile, he praises him for stealing the show and gives him a high five. Our protagonist mentally thanks him for the compliment he received from the man. The scene then cuts to a waiting room. A staff member explains the plan to the maid and another crew member. They seem to be organizing a surprise for the actress. Our young man holds a flower and wonders if it's for his mother. He thinks just one flower isn't enough for the occasion, so he decides he needs more impact and uses his coins for a request. Our boy asks the crew to put him on the stage floor. The system announces that the cost is 300 coins and he confirms the request. A staff member picks him up and says it's time to go on stage. A guy announces that it's Gongja's turn and that he can go on stage now. As a price, he will sleep for 10 hours after 1 hour. With a determined look, our protagonist thinks his turn has finally come. He seems very ready for the big moment of the night. The staff member nervously agrees, and the scene shows the cinema seats. Everything seems ready for our young man's big moment. Suddenly, the staff member who brought him there starts crying very loudly on the floor. Our boy is confused by the scene and wonders if the coins did this to her. Alone on the stage, a spotlight suddenly illuminates the little polar bear standing there. With a questioning look, he looks at the audience, not understanding anything that's happening. His mother and the director then see him, and she shouts her son's name, very surprised by the scene. The little one then waves for her to stop and thinks he'll go over there to meet her himself. With great determination, he prepares to walk and mentally encourages himself for the challenge. To everyone's surprise, our young man starts taking his first steps on stage. With the flower in his hand, he continues walking with very cute and determined baby steps. The photographers go crazy and start taking several photos of the incredible scene they are witnessing. He passes his 10-step limit but thinks the stage is still very far from him. His mother stares at him emotionally, and he's proud that his training paid off. Just then, he remembers that the price for healing the nun was having to fall every 10 steps. Suddenly, the little one collapses on the floor and looks up with a pained and tired expression. The photographers in the audience get ready because they're sure our boy is going to cry. But to everyone's surprise, the little one pushes himself up and tries to stand with all his might. He grunts a little but doesn't seem like he's giving up that easily. At that, the audience goes wild and starts cheering for him non-stop. People shout that he didn't cry and got up again like a champion. With a mischievous smile, our young man thinks that everything is going according to his plan. He then makes a cute face and calls for his mother with an angelic voice. The host narrates the scene, saying the actress's son brought her flowers. With a hand to her mouth, the woman is completely moved by the gesture. Our protagonist thinks that if she smiles, the reunion scene will end up on the cover of every newspaper. His plan to earn more coins seems perfect. He then holds out the flower but notices its stem is a bit limp. The little one is confused and wonders what could have happened to the flower. Our boy then questions why his mother isn't taking his gift. He stares at her with a doubtful expression, waiting for a reaction. Suddenly, a single tear rolls down the woman's face in a dramatic close-up. The emotion of the moment seems to have been too much for her to handle. At that, the actress starts crying uncontrollably, and our young man doesn't understand a thing. The tears fall non-stop and she seems very shaken by the situation. Completely shocked, our protagonist thinks it wasn't supposed to be this way. His plan was to make the woman smile, not cry in front of everyone. In the audience, people start pointing and whispering about the actress's reaction. Everyone seems very surprised by the scene happening on stage. The host tries to comfort the woman, saying little Ganja is there, but with a sad voice, she just laments what is happening. She then confesses in front of everyone that she didn't even know her son's birthday. Our boy is in shock because not even he knew that information. The woman explains that she tried to find a good day for his first party, but because she was so busy, she simply couldn't find the time. The host then praises her for being busy with the movie. Our protagonist thinks the man is a professional for doing promotion. His mother stares at him emotionally, and he's proud that his training paid off. With the little one in her arms, she hugs him and laments not knowing he could already walk so well. With her back to the audience, she blames herself for not seeing his first steps, but our boy thinks those were his first. In his mother's arms, our young man reflects on the situation that just happened on stage. He wonders if this feeling is the mother's bond he never had in his past life. Then, with a determined look, he extends his little bare paw to the woman. With that, our young man decides to use his coins and babbles to activate the system. His only wish is for his mother to be healthy and live a long time by his side. Meanwhile, the photographers take advantage of the moment and snap several photos of the emotional scene. At that moment, our boy remembers the tragic news about the woman from his past life. He recalls her funeral and how sad everyone was with the news at the time. Our young man then thinks about the actress's painful death, tormented until the end of her life. The system screen then appears and confirms the request to make the woman healthy once and for all. As a price, he will be deaf for 6 years, and our young man thinks this is absurd and complains to the system. Even so, he accepts it because he won't be a singer but a very famous actor in the future. He then thinks that compared to his mother's health, the price is quite cheap to pay. On stage, the host is shocked that the little one isn't crying and wonders if he was born for this. With a smile, the actress says it seems little Gongja is a lot like her. The host then jokes with the director, saying his eyes are burning with passion for the baby. With a determined look, the director says that if all goes well, they'll meet on another project. But our protagonist notices that his mother didn't like the idea at all and made a very sour face. He knows the director will have one hit after another, so he's not worried about her reaction. Therefore, our young man thinks it would be a great honor to work with the man again in the future. The woman notices he looks sleepy, but our boy knows it's the price of the wish he made. Suddenly, his vision goes dark, and he passes out due to the system's side effect. The scene cuts to a reporter covering the premiere and the success of the new zombie movie. Meanwhile, at home, our protagonist watches everything on TV with his pacifier in his mouth. The news talks about the positive reviews and the spectacular success of the film's launch. Suddenly, he points at the TV because his favorite scene is about to come on. An actor explains that the movie is about people trying to maintain their humanity in the apocalypse. The reporter then asks one of the actors if there was any unforgettable moment during filming. The man then reveals that the actress almost got hurt in an action scene with cables. The story then shows a newspaper headline about the accident that happened on set. With a smile, the woman assures everyone she's fine and explains she didn't fall properly because she was holding him. She says her instinct was to protect the little one and that the hospital confirmed everything is fine. Another actor comments that he was very worried about both of them, but felt relieved. Our boy on TV is highly praised for his cuteness. He then thinks he already found himself cute, but seeing himself on screen is even more amazing than he imagined. The scene then shows the moment he falls on the floor, and he wonders if he isn't just too cute. Right after, the TV shows him getting up, and our boy finds the scene adorable. Celebrating, he thinks this is the best part and hopes to collect a lot of coins. On TV, the cast says their goodbyes and wishes for everyone to watch the newly released movie. Our protagonist is confused and doesn't understand why the interview ended so suddenly. Sitting on the couch, he wonders in shock if it's really over and if that was all there was. With a look of defeat, he thinks that for a rookie, screen time is a great luxury. Lying on the couch, he laments that if he were famous, his mother's scene would have been shown. But he comes to terms with it and thinks he needs to seize the next chance to become famous. Sitting, he thinks that to get a lot of work, an actor needs one essential thing. Suddenly, he has an idea and realizes that the most important thing is to have a lot of energy. So to endure the filming sessions, he decides to use his coins and increase his energy. The system informs him he needs 5,000 coins, and he's shocked because it's less than he expected. He then understands that because he's already healthy, the price to get stronger is cheaper. With a smile on his face, the little one points his finger and confirms the request to the system. As a price, he will dance for a year whenever he hears music, and he despairs at the effect. A song about an octopus starts to play, and our boy gets very annoyed by it. He then looks at his hands and feet and realizes his body is moving on its own. Following the rhythm, he dances awkwardly and thinks he's become a big clown. Lying on the floor, he is relieved because luckily, the TV commercial ended very quickly. With that, he grabs the remote and hurries to change the channel as fast as possible. But to his bad luck, the next channel is a music show, sending him into a total panic. Dancing awkwardly, he complains that it's already hard to balance and that the song is long. Suddenly, the maid finds him and asks why he's jumping like that, leaving him in shock. She then puts him in the baby walker, and our young man begs for the woman to break the TV right away. The woman turns off the TV and wonders how it got turned on, and our protagonist is relieved. She then notices that he's sweating and thinks about giving the little one a bath to cool off. In a panic, our boy tries to babble and ask for water, but can only tremble non-stop. The maid stares at him, confused, not understanding what the little one is trying to tell her. With his face red from effort, he desperately tries to ask the woman for water. Then, with all his strength, our young man shouts that he needs water to hydrate right away. He then realizes he ended up speaking instead of just thinking and gets very scared by it. With his hand over his mouth, our protagonist is in shock because his mouth actually opened. The woman approaches, shocked, and questions him about what he just said to her. With his little hands raised, he prepares to repeat what he just said to the woman. With a bright smile, the little one then asks for water again in a very cute voice. The maid lifts him into the air, very happy, and asks what's happening to him. The maid is very happy and wonders how he can already speak so well. She questions if the little one is a genius, and our young man thinks about his age. With that, the woman grabs her phone and decides she needs to tell her boss the news. She then starts recording and asks him to call his mother to come running home. Our boy thinks the woman is asking a lot from a baby who just started talking. Even so, he cooperates with the plan and calls for his mother, looking at the camera. With a bright smile, he waves for the recording, striking a very cute pose. The maid then stops recording and prepares the video to send to the actress. On set, the actress receives the video and is completely enchanted by her son's cuteness. At that, she can't handle the emotion and ends up falling to the floor from all the cuteness she saw. The director is completely confused and wonders what's happening with the woman. He then also sees the video and is charmed by the cute scene of the little boy. The man also can't handle the emotion and ends up falling to the floor with the actress. Lying on the ground, they both look like they've been struck by an angel. The scene was so cute. Lying down, the woman blames herself and wonders if she's a good mother for having missed everything. The director then gets up and asks if the woman is going to have a birthday party for our boy. The woman replies that it will be something small at home, but the man is shocked and yells that it doesn't suit her. Angrily, the director shouts that the party has to be big and that he'll take care of all the preparations himself. With a strange smile, the man says our young man helped him rehabilitate a great actor and therefore he is a benefactor. With a mischievous look, he tells the woman to leave everything to him and asks if our young man likes cameras. The actress then gets very suspicious and questions if he's going to use the party to promote his business. The man denies it but explains that it's important to make connections early on to build great assets in the future. The woman then comments that people already talk a lot about the fact that our protagonist is adopted. The two then look at the phone, smiling, and the director comments that this attitude suits the actress very well. The scene then cuts to a kitchen and shows that some time has passed since the last conversation between the two. The grandmother then appears and starts sniffing our protagonist's head, seeming very satisfied with the scent. With her eyes closed, the woman holds him and says she feels alive while our young man stares at her, very annoyed. The matriarch then pinches his face and yells that she'll kick him out soon and that he shouldn't get his hopes up with her. The woman then talks to herself and wonders what her daughter is thinking, throwing a party at a hotel. The grandmother says her daughter didn't talk to the family and invited everyone, but she notices our young man seems to want to go. Our young man thinks this is his big chance to meet important people and become more famous. The grandmother stares at him, confused, and our protagonist fidgets happily because he trained a lot for this day. With a cute smile, he hugs her and calls her grandma for the first time in his life. The matriarch is completely shocked and wonders what he just said to her. With a cute face, he repeats it and thinks this is a special service to cheer her up a bit. The woman then lifts him into the air, still not believing what just happened in front of her. She then questions him if he's calling her grandma, and the little one confirms happily. With a serious face, the woman asks why she's his grandma and who his grandfather is. After all, our boy just hugs her and says he likes her, making a very cute noise. With that, the matriarch seems embarrassed and grumbles a bit about the whole situation. The grandma extends her hand over our boy. She then ends up patting him on the head. Our young man gives a happy smile and the woman scolds herself for not being able to resist. A week passes, and we see the hotel ballroom all decorated for the special event. Our protagonist then mentally prepares himself for the big moment of his party. Dressed in a traditional outfit, our young man wonders if his cute appearance is really good for the occasion. The system then informs him that his manager loved his appearance, and with that, he earns 20 more coins. The woman calls him a prince, and our boy thinks that today is the day to get a lot of coins from everyone. His mother then appears and calls him beautiful, saying that today he is the main character of the day. The little one extends his arms to the woman and thinks that she purposely didn't match her clothes with his. Suddenly, a staff member appears at the door and calls for the actress with some urgency in her voice. His mother then hides his face, and our young man wonders why the woman is in such a hurry. The girl then shows a box with a gold ring and says she found it in our protagonist's crib. The actress wonders if it was a gift from her family, and the staff member denies being the one who bought it. The woman explains she doesn't have money for an expensive gift, and the actress notes how luxurious it looks. His mother wonders who could have given the ring, and the staff member suggests it could only be one person, With the little one in her arms, she thinks it can't be, and that the gift wasn't meant to please her. With a smile, she thinks maybe the gift is a thank you for our young man being so adorable. The woman laments that the grandmother was the first to congratulate him, but that she didn't expect anything from her family. Looking at a photo of the two, she says she's happy and thanks the little one for coming into her life. Suddenly, the director and a woman arrive, and he asks if he'll finally get to see our young man. The actress then recognizes them as the president and Mrs. Ria. Our protagonist then realizes the man is the CEO of his mother's agency, President Seo. President Seo then approaches and says he's finally going to meet the famous baby of the agency. Our little one then hides a bit in his mother's arms with a very cute expression. The man and woman are completely shocked by his cuteness, and he says it's too much to handle. With our boy in her arms, the woman turns to greet other people who have arrived at the party. Just then, two little twin girls appear and stare at our protagonist with curiosity. The little ones seem very surprised to see the little actor for the first time in front of them. Then, with a cute wave, our young man says hello to the two little girls in front of him. The twins are ecstatic and scream that he can already talk and looks like a doll because he's so cute. They then run to him and ask their mother if they can take our little one home with them. The president picks up his daughters and apologizes while they even offer their room to our young man. The woman jokes that they are just like their father, and the man agrees they should be like him. The actress then thanks him for everything, and the president says it's the least he can do since she built the company. The woman then points to a table and asks if those are the family's seats. At that, the actress explains she didn't invite her family and asked them to be her relatives for a day. The man accepts and introduces himself as our young man's new uncle, who repeats the word in a cute voice. The president is enchanted and says that in person, the little one is much cuter than in the photos. He then pats the little one's head, and our boy thinks the man is a good judge of character. Our young man holds his hand, and the president is surprised that he isn't shy with strangers. With that, the system informs him that he's earned 100 coins, and our protagonist thinks this is just the beginning of his plan. Suddenly, a very stylish woman arrives and is introduced as the famous fashion designer Joan Riley. Our protagonist's mother sees her from a distance and waves with a smile for the designer to come over. The designer approaches, and our young man notices how much her sunglasses sparkle in the hall. The woman then introduces him, and the designer comments that a normal baby would have cried at her appearance. But our boy points at her and babbles about the sparkle, because he's no ordinary baby. Surprised by the little one's reaction, the woman takes off her glasses to get a better look at him. With a thoughtful look, the designer stares at him and seems to be analyzing every detail of our young man. She then touches him and says she was never interested in children's clothing, but now she understands why. Touching the little one's face, the woman says she now understands everything. She then steps away and says she needs to sketch the inspiration she just had. With a victorious smile, our young man celebrates because his plan worked again. Suddenly, the director arrives and says he's excited about the party. He then introduces a young man named Lee Jinwon and asks him to greet her. The young man introduces himself and says he's preparing his first feature film after winning an award. The woman then recognizes him and says he won the Best Director award at a festival. Our boy is shocked because he recognizes the name of the famous director who hasn't even debuted. The young man says his movie is about a child and that he came to see the famous little actor. With sparkling eyes, our young man is shocked because it could be for the director's first movie. He then remembers the movie Boyhood, and the man greets him with a smile. With a happy smile, our young man waves back and greets him in his baby voice. Our boy then realizes he acted like a real baby without even noticing. The young man is surprised that he can talk, and his mother says he's precocious for his age. The man says he's heard about it, but that our young man seems big even for a 2-year-old. With a flushed face, our young man stares at the director with an expression of pure admiration. The young man then falls silent and seems to be thinking about something very serious and important. A light shines and the two stare at each other as if a great connection has just been formed. In a cute version, the young man gets embarrassed, and the other man doesn't understand a thing. Suddenly, the director seems to have had a great idea, and a light bulb appears over his head. The young director then asks the older director for a business card. With trembling hands, the young man starts writing his contact information on a piece of paper. He then holds out the card and says he would like our young man to be the star of his movie. The woman takes the paper while she and our boy stare at the young man with great surprise. With sparkling eyes, our protagonist is shocked by the offer he received. The actress is worried about his age, but the director says it has to be the little one. The young man says he'll even change the script, and our young man is shocked to be the lead in Boyhood. With open arms, our boy celebrates the blessing of never-ending invitations. A man then announces that our protagonist is celebrating his first birthday. With a happy smile, the little one claps his hands and shouts excitedly at the start of his party. The host in a bear mask then announces that everyone is curious about our young man's choice. With that, the audience goes wild, and everyone seems very excited about the ceremony that's about to begin. The woman then announces the Doljabi, a ritual to predict the baby's future. But our boy realizes something important and is shocked by the situation that's happening. He then remembers that he is an actor and that his profession is to perform for the people who watch him. He then looks at the table and questions what he should pick from the objects that are there. His mother then asks what he's going to choose, and our young man thinks of her at that moment. Our protagonist thinks there's nothing for him to pick on that table of objects in front of him. Even so, he knows he needs to choose something so as not to ruin the party they prepared. Suddenly, a light bulb goes off in his head, and he seems to have found a solution to the problem. He then thinks that in moments like these, there's always a way out of the problems that arise. With a finger pointed forward, he shouts that he wants to choose that object that is far away. His mother is confused by the scene, and our young man continues to point and shout at everyone there. The girl in the mask then points to herself and wonders if our boy is choosing her for the ritual. With a smile, the actress explains that he can't choose the host of the birthday party. Our young man then shouts that he doesn't want a person and continues pointing at the host. The girl then understands and takes off her mask, asking if that's what he really wants. With a smile, she offers the object and asks if he likes that cartoon character. With that, our boy hugs the mask tightly and closes his eyes, very happy with his choice. His mother then stares at him with a surprised expression and seems to have understood his message. The audience is also shocked, and everyone seems to have understood what he meant by that. An explanation appears, saying the term actor comes from Greek theater, and the woman thinks of persona. At that, everyone starts to applaud, and our young man thinks that this is his true path. With a happy smile, he mentally celebrates that his future will be as a great famous actor. The scene then cuts to night and shows the mansion under the light of the full moon in the dark sky. His mother puts him to bed to sleep and covers him with a blanket so he doesn't get cold. With a serious and thoughtful look, the woman stares at the little one as he sleeps peacefully. With her back turned, the actress talks to the maid and says she was worried about something. While he sleeps, she says she didn't know if exposing him to the public was good for a normal life. But with a smile, she concludes that since he's her son, it's already too late for him to have a normal life. The maid says the paparazzi have already exposed him, and the actress agrees that he loves the cameras. The woman says the party made her sure, and that if his dream is to be an actor, she will support him. She remembers he picked the mask and that as a mother, she can't ignore such a clear sign. With that, she excitedly says that he received many business cards. The maid is shocked by his popularity, and the actress jokes that his face is already a work of art, but she gets worried and hopes he doesn't get hurt, but assures him she will always protect him. With a serious look, she remembers how cruel the entertainment world can be to people. 1 month later, and we see two men talking in the mansion's living room. One of the guys introduces himself as Lee Gajin, the writer of a famous variety show. The man explains that the special was planned as a one-off episode with a very calm atmosphere. Our young man gets excited because a show like this is good for his name but could tarnish his image. The writer says you can't give a script to a baby, which is why the cast is very important. With that, the man says he recommended our protagonist and that many articles will be written about him. The woman then asks for his fee to be donated to the convent where he used to live. Our boy celebrates the chance to collect coins but wonders why a show and not a movie. The writer is surprised she accepted the offer since the show is filmed at home. He then questions her on why she decided to participate in the variety show. With a smile, she says an actor needs empathy, but that she seems very distant. Our young man then stares at her attentively as she continues to explain her reasons. The woman holds him and says she doesn't want her weakness to be passed on to her new son. At that, our boy remembers his past life and that he didn't have support from his agency. He recalls that his managers were unreliable and were always being replaced back then. Our young man then thinks that being reborn as a baby and meeting his mother was a miracle. He understands that the new life was a salvation not just for him, but for the woman as well. Suddenly, a camera flash goes off and the filming of the show finally begins. Our protagonist is startled by the light and wonders what that sudden noise was. Knowing it's the camera, he decides to pretend he's asleep for the show's recording. The crew is impressed by the scene, and our young man hears everything and celebrates his plan. The woman then explains she's busy and that the maid is on vacation today. She says some guys have come over to play and calls him to greet them at the door. With a cute smile, he nods and confirms he's ready to meet the new visitors. He then gets into position on the floor, ready to run to the front door. With a determined look, the little one starts crawling very quickly towards the entrance of the house. Reaching the door, he peeks curiously and wonders who the guys are that came to visit him. To his surprise, a group of 5 guys introduces themselves as the famous K-pop band Yahello. Our protagonist is shocked and can't believe the famous band Yahello is in front of him. He then remembers they were the first K-pop idols to win a major award. With the little one in her arms, the woman introduces herself and asks them to take good care of her son today. The guys are enchanted and comment that he's much cuter in person than in the photos. Our young man is shocked because he only saw them from a distance on an award show stage in his past life. Seeing them up close, our boy realizes their aura is very different from an actor's. One of the guys then approaches and introduces himself as Hyunjin, the leader of the famous group. With a cute wave, our young man greets him and thinks the guy is very tall for his age. The other members of the group are shocked to see he can already speak so well. The woman says he's precocious, and the guys call him a genius, making our protagonist happy. The group leader then asks if he can hold the little one, and the actress agrees immediately. Carefully, the woman hands our boy over to the guy, who seems very excited about the scene. A bit clumsily, the guy holds him, and our young man just relaxes in his arms. The other members of the group approach and are enchanted by the little actor's cuteness. Our protagonist just closes his eyes and seems not to mind all the attention he's getting. He then holds the guy's finger and thinks that in the future they will be a very successful group. In a cute version, the guys stare at the little one with great admiration and affection on their faces. The woman then says goodbye and tells him to have fun with the guys because she'll be right back. Suddenly, our young man tightly grabs onto his mother's clothes. With sad eyes, our boy looks up at his mother cutely. The other members are shocked and wonder if the little one is actually going to start crying. But with his little hand, our boy just lets go of his mother's clothes. He then turns and starts waving to his mother, wishing her a very cute goodbye. The woman is moved by the scene and says she'll be back soon to be with him. The guys are moved, and one of them even forgets what they were going to play with the little one. At that, one of the guys puts him on his shoulders and starts playing horsey while our boy has a lot of fun. But in a moment of pure mischief, he starts pulling the guy's hair with a smile. Then one of the other members lifts him into the air and starts playing airplane with him. However, the guy gets too excited and almost drops our protagonist on the floor, sending everyone into a panic. To calm things down, they decide to play tag around the house with the little one. Two of the group members then join the chase and run after our boy. After so much playing, everyone is exhausted, with everyone lying on the floor. One of the guys complains that the game reminds him of nightmares, and another then asks our protagonist if he had fun with his new uncles. Our boy then stares at the group members and thinks that all of this makes him very anxious. Suddenly, one of the guys approaches with a ball in his hand and calls him to play. The guy then places the ball on the floor and encourages him to kick it with all his might, and our young man realizes they did a lot of research on how to play with children. And he was right, because the guys watched variety shows and remembered their cousins. Also, they could take good care of our famous little actor. With a determined look, our boy prepares to kick the ball for the first time, wondering if he'll be able to do it right. Then, with all his strength, the little one lifts his leg and prepares for the big kick. But to no one's surprise, he ends up losing his balance and falls to the floor. Lying on the floor, our boy wonders what just happened there. With his face a little red, he then questions if his fall wasn't too cute. At that, one of the guys tries to hold back his laughter, but the scene was too funny for him. He then can't hold it in and starts laughing out loud. Another member of the group then scolds him and tells him not to laugh like that. The member apologizes and explains that the scene was too cute for him to handle and comments that any other child would have started crying. He then holds our hero and explains that he laughed at the cuteness and not because he found it funny. Our protagonist notices they don't care about the camera and that all the attention is on him. He also realizes the group still doesn't know how to handle filming. With his little hand, he then touches the guy's face to show that everything is okay with him, trying to comfort the Yahello group member. Our boy then flashes a bright smile to calm the guy down for good. With his little hand, he then touches the guy's face to show that everything is okay with him, trying to comfort the Yahello group member. The guy then hugs him very tightly while our boy is surprised by so many coins at once. The other members say he's more mature than the guy who is crying for being comforted. With a smile, the guy asks if they can try again, and the little one agrees excitedly. The guy then holds him and helps him balance so he can kick the ball again. With a perfect kick, he hits the ball squarely and it flies through the air. The second attempt seems to have been a great success. The ball flies high and one of the guys praises him, calling him a little striker. The other members comment that he's very small and cute, and he, annoyed, thinks it's obvious he's small because he's just a baby. With the effort of the kick, he loses his balance and ends up falling on the floor once more, and one of the guys asks if he's okay. Another member grabs the ball and says he'll pass it back to our protagonist. With a strong kick, the guy launches the ball back to where our protagonist was. However, the ball flies very high, and it goes straight towards the two of them. Our protagonist panics because the ball is going to hit the guy's face, and he knows that for an idol, the face is their most important work tool. The group member then realizes the danger. Our protagonist mentally screams for him to dodge, but the guy hugs him to protect him. Our boy tries to do something to prevent the accident, and protects the guy's face with his own body. With the impact, the two end up falling to the floor in a very awkward way. The other members run over worried, and one of them asks why the guy kicked it so high. One of the guys approaches worriedly and asks if our protagonist got hurt by the ball. But our boy feels relieved for having saved the guy's face and thinks the sacrifice was worth it to protect the famous idol. The other members approach, and one of them questions why the guy fainted if he wasn't even hit. With a red face, the guy gets up and shouts that our protagonist protected him from danger. The group leader hugs Gonga and says it was dangerous and that the idol should have been the one hit. Another member then calls him a princess for being saved by a 1-year-old baby, but even embarrassed, the guy thinks the feeling isn't so bad. Suddenly, the guy stands up with a determined look and calls our protagonist for revenge. Our protagonist then stares at him, not understanding anything. The guy who kicked the ball then apologizes and tells them to hit him without mercy. With that, the other members take advantage of the situation and decide to tie the guy up. The scene then shows the guy's feet being tied with a jump rope. Sitting on a beanbag, the guy is completely immobilized by the rope, and he seems quite resigned to his fate as a prisoner. The other members then stare at him, and the tied-up guy then says the attention is too much for a sinner like him. To finish it off, one of the guys grabs him by his clothes and starts dragging him across the room. With that, another guy lifts the MC into the air and yells for him to attack the cursed one who is tied up. With a look of astonishment, our protagonist thinks that this is all total chaos. Suddenly, all the members jump on top of the prisoner, and our boy wonders if this is how kids play these days. The prisoner on the floor complains that everyone is too heavy and asks them to get off. The only exception he makes is for our little protagonist. The other members accuse him of trying to monopolize our Gongja's attention, but the guy just says he's cute and that he wanted a brother like him. The leader then reminds him he already has a younger brother at home, and with a sad face, the idol just replies that his brother isn't as cute. To comfort him, our protagonist approaches and calls him cute in an angelic voice. The other members of the group are completely enchanted by the cute scene. Lying on the floor, the other guys comment that they are very jealous. The group leader then approaches and asks the little one to call him cute too. With a cute hug on the guy's leg, our boy says that they are all cute. With the little one in his arms, the guy says he'll have good dreams for a long time and asks our hero to appear in his dreams for him. Our protagonist then babbles a cute word. The guy then asks if he wants to go to sleep, and that wasn't what our boy wanted, but he feels pressured to agree even without really wanting to. He then thinks the group must be very busy with their show schedule, so our boy asks to sleep with them. Our young man pats the guy's back, and the member says it seems like he's the one putting them to sleep. The group leader wonders why it seems like the little one is taking care of them, and another agrees, saying the show has lost its focus. One of the guys then suggests they watch TV, and Gongja agrees very excitedly with the idea. While eating, the little one confirms he likes TV, but thinks he prefers acting to just watching. At that, one of the members remembers that our boy picked the mask at the party, and that he has a great future as an actor. With a serious look, one of the guys suddenly calls our protagonist. He then reveals that just like the little one, he also has a big dream and asks if he wants to know what it is. Our young man stares at him with a curious expression and seems very interested in the guy's story. With eyes full of determination, the group member prepares to reveal his greatest wish. He then says his dream is to do a world tour with the group on a stage packed with fans. Our protagonist thinks they will definitely achieve it and that they will become successful global stars. Meanwhile, the guy complains that English is hard, and the other scolds him for saying that to a baby like that. Dejected, the member throws himself on the table, and the group leader asks the editors to cut the sad part of the conversation. With his little hand, our protagonist starts to pat the idol's head to comfort him. The guy then lifts his head, surprised by the gesture of affection he just received. With clenched fists, Gongja tries to encourage the guy with words of support. Doubtfully, the guy asks if our boy is encouraging him to fight, and our little one confirms and continues his words of support. Suddenly, the system announces that all the members got fired up, and he earns 3,000 coins. Our protagonist then reflects that because there are 5 members, the coins are coming in large quantities, and he is satisfied with the result of his plan. But with the excitement of the moment, he ends up throwing everything up, leaving everyone startled. The scene then cuts to an interview for the show, and the group leader confesses he's nervous because it's the first time he's taken care of a baby. The other members then say they learned to make baby food from their mothers, and that the first thing is not to let the baby go hungry. The guys thank their mothers and our boy for eating their food so well. The show becomes a hit, and several positive comments appear online. People praise the little one's cuteness. Other comments praise the combination of a handsome idol and a cute baby. People seem to love the interaction between our protagonist and the group members. 3 months later, our protagonist is shocked because the show was all he did, and he wonders if his acting career isn't a bit too stagnant. The maid then announces that the actress is receiving non-stop calls, but calmly the woman says she's not answering the calls on purpose. She then explains that they are casting offers since the show aired, and Gongja is shocked to hear this. The maid says she predicted everything, and the woman wonders if her contact info is being sold because she even received a call for an election campaign. She then says she will be selective with her son's projects because she knows the entertainment industry well. Our hero thinks his mother is very thoughtful and has always had a good eye for choosing projects. Meanwhile, the MC's mother looks at her phone and complains that she's mixing with all sorts of people, and that way she might miss the calls she was actually waiting for. Suddenly, the phone rings once more, and they both wonder who it could be this time. The screen shows the call is from the famous producer Lee Jae-min, which leaves the woman very surprised. At that, our boy remembers the drama Emergency Room about a teacher and his medical student. He recalls that the best part was when the teacher died at the end after leaving his son behind. The producer explains that the scene moved everyone, but that they couldn't find the right child actor. He says the actor they were going to use got measles, but that our young man looks like the actor from the drama. The man on the phone then reveals that the emergency room professor is the famous actor Han Woo-jin. Our protagonist then recalls that the man is the actor who always plays heartthrob roles in dramas. With that, the producer comments that our protagonist looks a lot like the actor's son in the drama. The man says the character's reason for living is his son, and that's why our protagonist has to be lovable. Excited, the man says the little one seems to be trying to protect someone even though he's so small. The protagonist's mother says she won't be able to go along because of her schedule, but tells him she'll always be watching over him. Our hero remembers working with that producer in his other life as a supporting actor and thinks the man was strict, but his direction was very good. And he remembers the man was the type who dedicates himself fully and cut 20 episodes, but even he backs down in front of his mother, Sujong. He then thanks his mother for having an easy life now, and remembers that before he had to do favors just to get a small part. Our young man then reflects that the child actor's role in the drama lasted only a few seconds and thinks that for such an emotional scene, the impact was very weak in the end. At that, he remembers that the bond between the actor and his son was weak because the original got sick, and finding a lovable child actor is very difficult to do. Sujong then hugs him and apologizes for not being able to go with him to the shoot, and our young man thinks it's okay and wonders how he'll guide the performance. A few days pass at our boy's house. In the maid's arms, our boy notices that she doesn't seem to be feeling very well today. He asks if she's okay, and to try to calm him, she replies that everything is great. The maid points to a car and says his uncle has arrived to pick him up for work, but our boy notices she doesn't look well at all. Suddenly, a man gets out of the car and shouts our protagonist's name. With a cute wave, our hero greets him and is shocked by the man's identity because he didn't expect CEO Seo to be his driver to the film set. The president then picks him up and tells the maid not to worry about anything, and she thanks him. As the woman waves, our boy wonders if she's really sick and remembers that earlier she seemed to have a very strong pain in her stomach. Waving back, Gongju decides he needs to collect more coins for the maid and plans to use the film crew to help her. Arriving at the film set, the president greets producer Lee Jamin. At that, the producer is very shocked to see the agency's president there and asks why the man came to the filming location. The president jokes that he's the only one left, and that effort saves everyone, and the producer comments that the man is as talkative as ever. Soe-dun lifts our boy into the air with great pride and officially introduces him to the new drama's producer. Our young man waves with his little hand and says a very cute hello to the producer. And the old man is completely speechless at the little actor's cuteness. Completely frozen, the man is impressed by Gongja's beauty. He seems very proud of his famous little actor's looks, and says that just by standing still he would already have chemistry with the role, and that his bright personality also helps a lot with acting. Very excited, the man shouts for the main actor to come see his son in the drama. Our protagonist is shocked to hear the name and looks for the famous actor. Our young man waves with his little hand and says a very cute hello to the producer. With a glance, actor Han Woojin finally looks at our protagonist.